Good morning, folks. Can you believe it? Hey, guess what? It is another hump day, another Wednesday. We made it here again midweek. That means we're halfway from the end of last weekend and so much closer to the new weekend coming up. Hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thank you for joining me for episode 38 of Soapbox Daily. Hey, always happy to have you here, and thank you very much for tuning in today. So we're going to have a busy day today, as always, on a Wednesday, because we have the morning show of Soapbox Daily, and also this evening, we have our long format show of Get Off My Soapbox. Please feel free to check that out. We'd love to have you around, and hey, how's your integrity today? Keep that in check. Today, we're discussing why do we support bad behavior? That's a good question in today's world. And let's not have any bad behavior on your parts, as I mentioned. Keep your integrity in check and be the change the world needs. Speaking of good behavior, check out getoffmysoapbox.com for more information on this show, and also, of course, our long format show of Get Off My Soapbox. So let's get into today's topic. Why do we support bad behavior? So there's a major shift happening in the world right now where certain behaviors that may have been tolerated in the past are no longer acceptable. A global awakening is occurring where different biases that may involve gender, race, religion, or cultural background, sexual orientation, or preference, political views are not excuses for behaving in ways that may cause harm to another person or violate their rights. This is a good time to look at certain behaviors or why certain behaviors may be tolerated with no judgment, so we can have more awareness of what's acceptable and what's not. Be in a better position to make choices that will support us in accomplishing what we want without putting ourselves at risk. And it's amazing how we are turning against these bad behaviors through history where we've been up to this point, but I've seen an escalation of more bad behavior. It's like people are selfish now. It's like people feel entitled to be able to act a certain way, be assholes, be jerks when it comes to driving or in malls or in general public. I've noticed, as much as we're not accepting past behaviors, it seems a lot more people are becoming assholes when it comes to their behavior on a selfish level in the world today. We're not tolerating the past, but we're going to be assholes ourselves now. I think people really need to step back and take a check of themselves. And this is why I always mention, hey, how is your integrity? Do some self-evaluation on your own actions, your own words, and your own behavior. Because maybe you're being the asshole and the difficult person. We seem to allow bad behavior because of a few reasons. We're concerned that, they might retaliate when we try to address these bad behaviors. You could always believe that it's just the way they are, and you really don't believe people can change. I mean, you believe that maybe you don't have power in the situation. Everybody has the same insecurities. So even these assholes that are, and yes, this is going to be rated E for explicit, because even these people that are throwing these tantrums, which is pretty much what it is. They're throwing tantrums. They are adults throwing tantrums. There's no reason for it. But what can we do to help them with these behaviors? You don't have to agree with how other people behave, and nothing you say or do is going to change them, most people would think. I mean, if you understand, though, why certain behaviors trigger negative feelings in other people and yourself, you can possibly help choose healthier reactions, whether it be you, whether it be that person that's freaking out and being a complete jerk. How do you approach these situations, right? It's not easy. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but the only way to correct a behavior in a child is kind of the same mentality you have to use when addressing these people that are acting like idiots. Okay, you have to treat them almost like a child because obviously they didn't learn right from wrong. When they're being selfish or driving like idiots or, being rude and loud and obnoxious and swearing their heads off, that's all childish behavior that needs to be corrected. The only way is how do you approach correcting that behavior? Here's some points I'm going to give you at this point. So there's always going to be sides. Everybody's going to see things from a different perspective. Trying to understand the person's perspective of why they're acting the way they are. Evaluate the situation and try to have a little bit of empathy for it. Some people aren't approachable. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from the situation. But if people's behavior ends up becoming too extreme, then yes, you have to step in and subdue the person in some level and try to either talk to them or try to understand their situation or call authorities. Call authorities, get them in on it. And yes, if they have to be wrestled to the ground because they are disturbing the peace and not being a responsible citizen, yeah, you have to do what you have to do. There's no reason for bad behavior. And it doesn't help that online, we have people that are praising it, but usually it's the juvenile mindset and the immature mindset that doing the support. It's always easy to support bad behavior if you're not the target of bad behavior. It's always easy to cheer it on because you think it's cool and that's what the rallying crowd is doing if it's not threatening to you. It's not right that people act uncivilized, but we should not support it. We should correct it. We should do what we can to understand, but at the same time protect ourselves, but also look at what they're doing and go, how can they justify their immoral behavior and actions? What can I do? Keep myself safe, but at the same time, try to understand a little. So just think about this today when you're thinking about bad behavior that you see and how some idiots are actually supporting it. You really have to step back, and because most of us have had the experience with people who regularly break the rules of a polite decorum and who frequently disregard others' boundaries. Often they expect us to excuse their actions because they say the situation caused them to behave in an inappropriate way, or they claim that we caused them to react in a particular behavior. The truth is, we are all accountable for our own choices of actions. Keep that in mind. Probably address this a little further. Don't support bad behavior. Try to understand. Keep yourself safe though. And hey, in general, have some integrity. Be the change the world needs. Be positive. Be a good person. Don't hurt others. Make a change in this world. Be the change the world needs. All right, that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up for today for It's Hump Day because, I still have this evening's show and that's going to be pretty busy. That's going to keep us pretty active today. So we got a plan for that. So we're going to get on that. You have yourself a tremendous Wednesday. I hope you have an amazing hump day, amazing day today. Please check out getoffmysoapbox.com for more information on our shows. Also over at Twitter at Mad Soapbox. Check that out. I'm your host, Mad Morgan. Have an awesome day and I will see you next episode.